Merry Christmas to all. I hope everyone got what they asked for and are having a great good old jolly day with family and friends. For the first time in NFL history, we have two games being aired on Netflix. Both games are full of playoffs implications. The first game will be played at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'll see the 14-1 Kansas City Chiefs -2.5 going on the road to take on the 10-5 Pittsburgh Steelers. The Chiefs are 6-8-1 against the spread and 3-1 on the road, while the Steelers are 10-5 against the spread and 2-4 at home. The history between these two teams when facing each other are as follows. In the last 5 matchups, the Kansas City Chiefs lead the series 3-2. The Chiefs scored a combined 149 total points, while the Steelers scored a combined of 105 points. The last time they met was back in 2022 in the first round of the AFC Conference Playoffs, and the Chiefs defeated the Steelers 42-21. Patrick Mahomes has a perfect record against the Steelers. He's 2-0 against them, and after today, he can make it 3-0 if he's able to beat the Steelers. Last week, we seen the Chiefs beat the Houston Texans 27-19. Despite Mahomes suffering a high ankle sprain against the Cleveland Browns that didn't stop him from suiting up and taking the field, he completed 28 passes for 261 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and 33 rushing yards with a touchdown. It seemed like Mahomes wasn't bothered by the ankle injury and was moving very well, but on a 2-day rest, how much can his ankle hold up against the Steelers? We know he has a heart of a warrior and can restrain pain, but we'll see how he performs in this one. One thing is for sure, and it's that tight end Travis Kelce will be looking to break Hall of Famers and former Chiefs tight end Tony Gonzalez's touchdown record. Ever since tying the record, Kelce hasn't seen the end zone in quite some time now. The future Hall of Famer this season has 89 catches for 739 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Chiefs finally got back Hollywood Brown ever since hurting his shoulder during the preseason. In his debut game against the Texans, Brown had 5 catches for 45 yards. I know those aren't numbers that jumped at you, but he's just getting back into things, and once Mahomes and him start clicking, he's gonna be another weapon. The Chiefs will have to help them get the three-peat. The Steelers, on the other hand, are suffering back-to-back loss and are now tied for first place in the AFC North Division with Baltimore. However, beating the Chiefs will help them gain their confidence back and raise up their morale. Russell Wilson been struggling lately, not having George Pickens in the lineup. He's averaging 167 yards per game without Pickens, and while having Pickens in the lineup, he was averaging 271 yards per game. But Russell Wilson's performance last week wasn't bad despite the loss. He completed 22 passes for 217 yards, 2 touchdown passes, and 1 interception. Their defense also been battered and beaten lately and letting up 61 points in 2 games. TJ Watt been playing hurt, and last week he was a non-factor. I don't know what his status is going to be coming into this one, but if he's not able to go, who's going to step up and get after Mahomes? But if we know Mike Tomlin like we do, he will have a game plan set up for Mahomes and will send pressure and see how good that ankle really is. Now for my prediction. The way I see this one playing out is the Chiefs winning in a close one. I know the Steelers are playing home and are trying to bounce back into the winning column, but this ain't that game. The Chiefs are to focus this time of year, and they know getting the bye week in the playoffs ain't promise. And if the Steelers won't have their number 1 pass rusher TJ Watt playing in this one, Mahomes will eat in the run game, will also get going with both Pacheco and Hunt. My pick is the Kansas City Chiefs -2.5 on the road. The next game on this Christmas Day will see the 10-5 Baltimore Ravens -5.5 traveling down to Texas to take on the 9-6 Houston Texans. Baltimore this season are 8-6-1 against the spread and 5-3 on the road. The Houston Texans, on the other hand, are 6-7-2 against the spread and 3-1 at home. Both teams are also playing on a 3-day rest. The history between these two teams when facing each other are as follows. The Baltimore Ravens has won 8 games out of the 10 times they faced Houston. They're also 6-4 against the spread when facing Houston. Baltimore last week hosted the Pittsburgh Steelers for a chance to tie things up in their division. They took a loss to the Steelers early this season, but last week Lamar Jackson and the Ravens proved it was a fluke. The game wasn't even close, and Lamar Jackson once again shined bright. He completed 15 passes for 207 yards with 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Derrick Henry also dominated this game, rushing for 162 yards on 26 carries, and they beat the Steelers 34-17 and tying things up in the AFC North Division with Pittsburgh. They know losing this game can potentially cost them winning the division. Expect Lamar Jackson to keep having the year he's having and keep killing opponents with his arm, and also expect Derrick Henry to try and run all over the Texans and have a dominating game on the ground. However, the Texans, despite losing to the Chiefs, are still in first place in their division and in fourth place in the playoff picture, but losing this game to Baltimore can bump them down to fifth or even sixth place when things are said and done. C.J. Stroud against the Chiefs was pretty good. He completed 23 passes for 244 yards with 2 touchdown passes, but he also threw 2 interceptions. They also lost wideout Tank Dell, who was cooking before suffering a dislocated knee. Tank Dell this year has suffered a broken fibula, he's gotten shot, and now is out with a dislocated knee and a torn ACL. If one thing is for sure is that Tank Dell is relentless and won't anything keep him down. Wishing him a speedy recovery. Houston also struggled to get Joe Mixon going. He only had 71 total scrimmage yards compared to his dominating performances against other teams. He's rushed for 57 yards on 14 carries, being the lowest he's rushed all season this year. Their defense also couldn't get to Mahomes, and the time they did, they made Mahomes fumbled and even recovered it for a score, but it got called back due to a roughing the passer penalty. If it wasn't for that, I think it would have been a different story. But the Texans lost 19-27. In order for the Texans to win this game, the defense is going to have to show up and play big. They're going to have to try and get after Lamar Jackson and also try to stop Derrick Henry in the run game. They can't let Lamar sit in the pocket and just have time for him to throw, and they also can't let Henry break out for big runs over 20 yards. C.J. Stroud also has to get Joe Mixon going early and get Nico Collins attacking the defense deep. If they're able to take care of business on both sides of the ball, then they can win this game and hold on to that 4th seed in the AFC Conference playoffs. Now for my prediction in this one. The way I see this game unfolding is simple. Both teams are going to try to establish the run game early, and whoever has the most success on the ground will be able to attack the defense through the air. Even though both teams are playing on a 2-day rest, the Texans don't gotta travel anywhere, while Baltimore has to travel to Houston with no type of rest like that. With all that being said, I'm going with the home team, the Houston Texans, plus 5.5. C.J. Stroud will bounce back, take care of the ball, and Mixon will also get cooking.